I'm David Shepard. I'm the MLA, or member of the Legislative Assembly for Edmonton City Centre. The Alberta NDP, well, they really are the party that represents my own values. They really do believe in looking out for everyday people and making sure that things like healthcare, education, social supports are available to absolutely every Albertan. That we're not putting people in a position where they have to pay out of pocket, or the size of your wallet determines the quality of the services or the opportunities that you're going to get. They are a party that believes in people. They're a party that stands up for working people. And in particular, when I was looking around the political landscape and deciding, who I would want to run with. At that time, the Alberta NDP was only 4 MLAs, very small opposition party, but they worked incredibly hard. They were in the press almost every day, standing up for people, speaking out on issues. They were incredibly effective. I found that really inspiring, and I decided that was the party I wanted to run with. Well, I've always had an interest in politics from a young age, really. Politics is the systems that really govern everything in our lives, right? Healthcare, education, all of the stuff we encounter day to day that affects our quality of life. It's all determined within the political system. So what I saw for myself sort of growing up, and sort of when I saw how politics was operating in Alberta, is that there's a lot of voices that weren't represented. We had the same political party that was in power for over 40 years. So I really felt that, hey, I wanted to get involved in that, to have the opportunity to get more people engaged, because really the best check and balance in any government is an engaged public. That's how we make sure governments are actually listening to people. So I saw an opportunity to get involved in some of those systems, some of those things that affect so many parts of our life, trying to do some good things that would help people and maybe restore a bit of faith in the system. I've always had a knack for communications. I was one of those weird kids in, junior high school that actually liked writing essays. I've always loved writing. I love talking. I love public speaking. Communication is at the heart of everything. If we want people to be able to work together, if we want people to be able to collaborate, we need to be able to communicate well. So really, it's about explaining ideas. It's about bringing people together. It's about finding ways that we can work on things and get good things done. It all comes down to communication. So MLAs do a lot of things. The basic task of an MLA is to represent the people in the community that they represent. I represent Edmonton City Centre. So my job is, when I am at the legislature, when they're introducing legislation, when we have question period and other things, to bring forward the concerns of the people in Edmonton City Centre. Make sure their voice is heard and represented there. Secondly, my job is to be part of the Alberta NDP caucus. So that's all of the MLAs that were elected as part of the Alberta NDP at the legislature. So we've got certain duties that we have. So, being there in the legislature each day, being there as part of debate, being there in question period, being part of committees, right? And doing other work that we do in terms of outreach in the community. So that's the second part of my work as an MLA, is doing work with my caucus. Third part is a lot of just community-oriented work. So there's the overtly political stuff where we're talking about issues and policies, but MLAs also just do a lot of work just out in the community. So I go to a lot of different community events, just congratulate people on great things they're doing, recognize people's 100th birthday, the 40th anniversary of Kerry West Festival happening here this summer. So I go to a lot of community events. People just like to see that folks in government are there. They're celebrating what's happening in their community and, supporting stuff that's happening on the ground. It can really vary. It really depends on, what's happening. When we're in session, then normally, I get up in the morning, I'll answer some emails, maybe take a few meetings, then I'll be at the legislature. We have a quick caucus meeting. We practice for question period. We go into the House 1:30 in the afternoon. We go through the routine. We do question period, and then there's debate. So that's sort of the regular thing. That's sort of Monday through Thursday for the periods when we're sitting in session, which is twice a year, spring session and winter session. When we're not in session, can be very different from day to day, but it's going to involve some amount of, sometimes I'll meet with constituents here at my office. Sometimes I'll be meeting with folks out in the community, talking about different issues or concerns that they have, going to different events. Sometimes I'll be traveling to other parts of the province. When you're in opposition, sometimes you'll have what's called a critic role in government. You have ministers of health or, social services, those sorts of things. In opposition, you have critics. And so your job is to respond to what the government does on particular issues. So as a critic, hey, sometimes you're out traveling around the province, talking to people about concerns and different ideas and stuff too. Well, one thing I would say is, a definite high point is, when I was elected, I found out I was only the third Black person ever elected to the Alberta legislature. So, that became a very important thing for me to work on outreach with, connecting with a lot of the African, Caribbean, and Black communities across the province of Alberta to show them that there was representation and, hey, help change that, to connect more people with our political system in the province and get them interested and involved and engaged. So part of that work was in 2017. I had the opportunity, we were in government at the time, to work then with the then Premier Rachel Notley and our Minister of Culture to, for the very first time, have an official recognition of Black History Month at the Alberta Legislature. And that event that night was just an amazing thing. We had, I think, nearly 400 people there, in the rotunda, the legislature, and the next level up, and the next level up, all there celebrating, seeing how much that meant to people to have that official recognition and make that impact. And that's been a regular celebration at the legislature every year since. One is the opportunity just to connect with all kinds of different people. There's so many people on the ground in our communities doing just incredible work, pursuing their passion, pursuing their dreams of how they want to help people. So having the chance to get out, connect with them, learn about their work, and see how I can help amplify or connect them with others or connect them with government programs and supports. Amazing thing to get to do. It's good for the art. It can be easy to feel pessimistic sometimes about the state of the world and the direction things are going, but seeing the good work that so many people are doing is incredibly encouraging. Second thing I just love about this job is that opportunity to learn. I can knock on almost any door, call up almost anybody and say, hey, I want to learn more about this issue, and they're happy to talk to me and help me learn. So we have to make a lot of big decisions. We deal with a lot of big policies, everything from, how do we keep something as complex as a massive healthcare system going, to how do we address issues of climate change, to, here in my constituency, how do we deal with the ongoing challenge of the number of people that are living without housing? But there's so many folks out there who have incredible knowledge that they're willing to share, and I just really enjoy that opportunity to learn. There's a lot of things I would like to change. Hey, I'll be honest, the biggest thing I'd like to change right now is the party in power. Like I said, we had a single party that was in power in Alberta for over 40 years. And in that time, anybody holds power for that long, there's going to be a certain amount of arrogance and entitlement that's going to creep in. People are going to stop really thinking about listening to people, and they're going to start looking out for themselves. In the last 5 years, the United Conservative Party has managed to achieve everything that the Progressive Conservative Party took 44 years to get to in terms of arrogance, entitlement, and frankly, a lot of unethical behavior. So really, the biggest thing I want to change right now is that. I think Albertans deserve to have a government that actually cares about them, that actually looks out for them, and that holds himself to a much higher standard. Any regrets? It can be really intense work. So, really, this job will take all of the time you give it and more. So my only regret is maybe at times I have not done a great job of maintaining that balance, making sure that I'm carving out enough time to sort of look after myself. So it's something you got to be very careful and thoughtful about. Well, certainly one of the biggest challenges that, we are talking about here in downtown Edmonton is about vibrancy in dealing with some of the challenges. So in the course of the pandemic, we saw the number of people living houseless in Edmonton double. And certainly some of the biggest impact and visibility of that has been here in our downtown. At the same time, having all of the office towers empty out, we lost a lot of economic momentum, and we lost a lot of the momentum on work that was being done to really improve and create vibrancy in the area. So we're seeing some good comeback. We're seeing a lot of folks putting a lot of time and effort. But one of the big things I want to do is really work with all of our partners at the table to highlight, the pieces where the provincial government can really make a difference. Last fall, I created something called my Downtown Advocacy Toolkit, which highlighted a number of recommendations that came from the government's own committees that hadn't been acted on yet, saying, hey, if we take these steps, we can start to make a real difference for our communities today. So I'm working on an update on that now, and that's going to be one of the big things I'll be working on this year. Connect with your community. Politics is about community. If you want to represent people, you have to understand people and what they need. So really get out there and get involved. Get involved in your local community league. Go out to the local community events. Take the opportunity to talk to people, see what their concerns are, see what the issues are on the ground. Get involved with some folks that are maybe doing some advocacy work. Look for those opportunities on those issues in your community and learn. Second, think about, if you're looking at provincial or federal, you're going to be running with a political party. Think about which political party you'd be interested in running with, who represents your values, and get involved. Buy a membership. Start going to events. Get involved in your local constituency association. It's a local group that sort of finds candidates and gets involved in things in your area. Make yourself known, make yourself visible, and start building your network.